Picture this: a future where your wealth is secure, where your investments thrive. This is possible with Remic Realty's innovative home strategy. Transform your equity situation and unlock a prosperous tomorrow. Don't wait. Join the real estate revolution. Dial 1-88888-REMIC, that's 73642. Success is just a call away with Remic Realty. Change your life, invest in your future, today.
How are you doing today? Welcome to the platform, folks. Welcome to the YRU. Why are you not rich? YRU, Young and Rich University. My name is Frank Corbin. I'm your host for today, and I have a very special guest. Her name is Sue Chambers. Sue is a dynamic force. She owns her own company called Sue Chambers Financial Services based in Toronto. She says, Frank, when I'm not doing insurance and financial advising, I'm home cooking. She's a chef. That's interesting. Sue's aim is to exceed $1 million in annual premium. She wants to be the top life insurance advisor in Canada. Very ambitious, Sue. Good for you. But today we can have a one-on-one and discuss all the steps that Sue been doing for the past 2 years, her journey, and how she can better help you change your financial situation. Sue, welcome to the platform.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Frank. This is my first podcast. So this is definitely part of my journey. Thank you very much for the invite. I appreciate it.
Excellent. So give me a background story in you.
Well, I am an immigrant. I came to Canada when I was 14 years old. And I spent my teenage years couch surfing because the environment.
Surfing?
I left home at a very young age because it was just it wasn't the environment for a young girl. So, but here I am. I am what you call. I remember when I found out the meaning of the word statistics. Listen. Mm-hmm. I remember saying, I don't want to be a statistic. I was not going to. So I pretty much raised myself in my teen years. Not much guidance. I have two beautiful, amazing children.
Nice.
I'm a mother. I'm a wife. I'm a daughter. I'm a sister. I'm a friend. I'm a businesswoman. I'm my own boss. So that's just a little bit about me. Yeah, I have a degree in hospitality and tourism, and I also hold a couple of certificates. Nice. And now I am working towards my CFP designation, which is the highest designation you can acquire in my industry. So yeah, Sue Chambers is very ambitious.
Excellent. And we like ambition people in this platform. We like educators because I always say to many people, any fool can run into $1 million. But it takes education to keep it.
Absolutely.
The right knowledge and the right people around you to keep that money. And we can see a lot of people over the course of the years, they make money from whatever, whether it's working a job, throwing box in a factory or doing a white collar, it doesn't matter. But you still need education to keep that money.
Absolutely.
And we see clear as day over the years from the athletes and the entrepreneurs and the movie stars who make a lot of money in a certain time frame. And before a certain time frame, all that money disappear.
It's true. Yeah. No education. So what lead you, or financial education that is, what lead you into the financial education or advisory industry? I was working a job. I made very good income. But when you're working in corporate, every last quarter, the fourth quarter, there's a lot of organizational changes. And I remember I became one of those organizational changes after spending almost 10 years at a company. And I didn't want to go through that again. And so my advisor, who was a Sun Life advisor at the time, said, hey, why don't you become an advisor and sell insurance? And I had no second thoughts about it. I didn't even say, what? What are you talking about? Immediately, once he said it to me, I said, yeah, I can do that. I can sell insurance. Because I knew what insurance was and how we can help families.
Right.
So immediately I said, yeah, I'll try.
Mhm.
Right. So I studied, I worked full time, and I actually started to set goals, like like big goals. I said once I got this license, I
Mhm.
was going to immediately quit my job at Bell Canada. Yeah, and I told my
You're
husband I
very
was going to do
ambitious.
that. Yeah, everybody looked at me like, you're crazy. You're going to quit your job to sell life insurance? I'm like, yeah, I am.
Yeah.
And there was some metrics that you had to meet before Sun Life would fully onboard you on and sponsor your license.
Hmm.
And I exceeded those. I remember when I got my first commission check, they actually called me in the office and sat me down and said, hey, we want to talk to you about something. You probably have never seen a check like this before. And I had it, not a paycheck.
Yes.
You know
That's
what I
that's
mean?
very,
And
yeah.
that was
Mhm.
when I handed in my resignation,
Right.
and that was it. I just knew that it was possible for me. And it's a
That's
second
a good
career,
that's a
right?
good story because a lot of people in transition, they don't want to hit it out of the park like that. It takes them a while. So what do you think
It
was
took me a
special
while,
about,
Frank.
well, what time frame?
I'm in my fifth year now.
Fifth year?
Um, yeah, so this is 5 years now since I've been doing this.
Right.
However, the first, and I'm not talking just commission wise, because you can sell whatever you sell. It doesn't matter,
Mhm.
right? It's just being consistent and not getting that big check and then thinking like, oh, I don't have to do anything for another 6 months, right?
Right.
It's just being consistent and continuously just driving yourself and putting
Mhm.
yourself out there. Be vulnerable, right?
Right.
And I think number one thing I learned, I had to show up. I had
Yeah.
to show up and take advantage of all the resources, because Sun Life had a lot of resources, right? They had
Right.
training, coaching, all these things. Because product you can learn anywhere. You can
Right.
learn how to sell anybody's product, right? Because it's a product. But the sales cycle
Hmm.
and managing your time and really putting in the effort, it's possible, like 100%. And people give up early.
So, and you're absolutely right. A lot of people give early because of self-employment or even, yeah, self-employment, even professional. The failure rate is very, very high. Okay. So why didn't you give up?
I had a mortgage, man. I had bills. I didn't want my husband looking at me sideways like, oh, you quit your job and now you're not making it. I had to make money. Like, I really had to make money. And I knew a lot of people. And I knew a lot of people needed my services and my products.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I remember the first year I would approach people that I knew and they wouldn't even give me the time of day. Now, those same people are now my clients because
Beautiful.
number one, people want to see that you're consistent, right? They
Yeah.
don't want to buy a policy from you and then 8 months later you're gone and there's some new guy calling them to sell them.
That's so
You know
important.
what I mean? And they're like,
Yes.
what
Yes.
happened to you? Right.
Yes.
So people wanted to see consistency. They wanted to see that you're actually doing what you said you're going to do. Right.
Well,
And you didn't just,
you're
yeah.
definitely consistent. And my question to you is, a lot of people, I know a lot of life insurance advisors and a lot of life insurance folks. Um, I don't know anyone that own their own brokerage. So you own
Oh,
Sue Chambers Financial Services. So
I
what
do.
what drive you to that? Because that's a different level of responsibility. What drive you to that level?
Understanding the business, leveraging
Yeah.
myself, going into spaces where the expectations are high. Their
Right.
advisors having hundreds of millions of dollars under management,
Mhm.
asking them, hey, what do you think I should do? And the
Right.
first thing and I'm telling you, these are the guys that created the industry.
Yeah.
So I remember after I left Sun Life, right? Because I stayed there for about 3 years and then I left and I wasn't making any money for like 2 months. I couldn't sell a policy. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And my girlfriend said to me, hey, there's this conference and you should come. And I'm like, where do you expect me to get $500 for? Like the tickets were $500.
Right.
But for the $500, the people that you get to be around,
Access. Access.
exact access.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I remember I charged it on my credit card. And I went to the Congress, and it was all these top advisors. I can count how many Black people were there. I can
Hmm.
count how many Black women I saw.
Yeah.
and there was like maybe 3 or 4 of us. I could count how many women were there. There was about maybe 20 women out of 750 attendees.
So you pay close attention to what was going on.
So yeah, so I started to ask questions, and I listened to all the presentations, and I took a lot away. I found like I started following those presenters on LinkedIn and connected with them, and just kept the communication going. Let them know, because it really made an impact on me, that one conference that I went to. And I went back because they gave you a lot of ideas how you can implement different practices into your business, and and how to become a thought leader, just different. Oh my gosh, it was the best $500 I spent, because if I didn't go, I would have been working somewhere 9 to 5.
So
By far.
that's very good stories. You get to the conference, you connect with the presenters and connect with a lot of people, and you start build your client base from that conference.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Because you're learning, these guys have been in the industry like 40, 50 years, like and they're elite advisors, right? So I remember it was a whole day thing, and we had lunch. And so I sat, one of my wholesalers from one of the insurance companies asked me to sit at his table. So I sat at his table, and there was some, older guys there, and I was asking them questions, say I was going on a cruise, and he said, when you get on that cruise, I want you to find someone who's going to pay for it. And then you're going to find someone else who's going to pay for the next one. And I'm like, how do I do that? And he told me exactly what to do. He goes, make sure you don't talk to them in front of a bunch of people, because there's going to be one guy who doesn't believe in what you're doing.
Right.
So, and he told me how to prospect that person. Can I tell you something?
Yes.
I did just that.
And you got the results.
Absolutely.
So was that person your management, your supervisor, your mentor, your coach? Who was that person giving you this direct, specific?
Just a random advisor that I met.
And he just gave you tips.
And he just gave me tips. That $500 that I spent on the ticket.
So you bought a ticket from him.
Pardon?
You bought a ticket from the guy, the advisor?
No, this was the conference that I paid the $500 to attend. And while I was there, I was having lunch with other advisors.
Right, just talking to them. Yeah.
Just talking. And I told this one gentleman that I was going on a cruise. And so he said to me, here's what you're going to do when you get on the cruise, to make sure that someone on that cruise paid for it. And I went on the cruise because there were lots of people from Canada, from Toronto. We traveled in a group. And I did get about 2 clients from that trip.
Nice.
Yeah,
and
just talking about what I do. Yeah.
That paid for you.
And it paid for it. Yeah, absolutely.
Very good.
Yeah.
That's
So I just tried what he said, because he's been in the business. And then, I would ask question about, what do you think about incorporation? And they told me the benefits of incorporating my business. So I did that, right? So I really, my brokerage came from just asking questions and understanding the business that I'm in.
Right.
And then getting mentorship and access to some of the top advisors in the country, and seeing how they model their model, and then running with it and making it my own.
Very good. Very good.
And people take it more seriously too.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's very brilliant. That's very good. I like your story. I like your story, Sue. And Sue is committed to excellent and personalized services, and she's going to help you change your financial situation. Now, let's talk about our community. There have been very resistance in the community from the insurance perspective. Why do you think that is?
I think it's lack of education, lack of the access and the resources that they have, and the willingness to learn and educate. And sometimes it's fear, right? Who wants to think about dying? And, I'm leaving all this money to my kids so they can go blow it or whatever. Or whatever. I had a client that said to me, he's not getting not a client, but a prospect. He said he wasn't interested in life insurance because once the policy's in place, they're going to kill him off. Yeah, honestly. And then one guy said to me, why should I get life insurance so my kids could bury me? After everything I do for them, they should have that money saved up. You know what I mean? So it's attitude, it's education, and then it's also fear.
And what do you do to change that as an advisor?
There are some people that you can't really convince them. Like, I'm not here to convince anybody. I always tell
Right.
people that I'm not here to convince anyone.
Mhm.
But I'm here to show you the importance of the product and how you can put your family in a better position than even when you're here, right? So it's
Mhm.
just educating them on not just the product, but the benefits, right, of
Right.
having this thing in place. And then, giving them real case studies of people famous people
Right.
that you thought had life insurance, but here was a GoFundMe. I
Mhm.
post a lot of GoFundMe's and, people understanding these things are real. I don't donate to GoFundMe. I'll tell you that right now. So don't send me a GoFundMe for your
Mhm.
family member, because if you have a parent and that parent is not insured, if you have siblings, you guys can put together 40, $50 a month to make sure that your elderly parent has some type of insurance, right? And
Yeah.
even for yourself, you don't
So,
need we just needed to cover your final expenses, sir.
that's my next question, because you see, you don't support GoFundMe. I have the same. I have the same view as well. And you answer the question, why don't you support it? Because you can actually come together and start a little family fund for mom or dad, even in the senior years or older years where you think they're going to go sometime soon. And you can plan that exit where it's not embarrassing to the family. I think it's an embarrassment when they can talk to yourself and 50, $100 a month, and you can change that, calling everybody for $1 or $2 when your family pass.
Yep.
And so was it. So that's one problem that you've seen in the community, where people are not attending, are not addressing the passing of seniors or older parents. What other problem are you seeing?
I'm seeing a lack of health benefits, critical illness benefits, because everybody plans to die, but nobody plans to live, right?
Mhm.
So I do see a lack of that. The breast cancer rates in Black women are significantly high, or mortality rate is higher when it comes to heart disease and when it comes to stroke, when it comes to cancers, but we have the least coverage, right? Because
Right.
people don't want to pay the extra premium, pay for
Mhm.
the added protection. Because I'll tell you, your chances of surviving a critical illness is a lot higher now than before, because medicine is advanced. People are living longer.
Mhm.
But while they're recovering, where is the funds coming from? Yes, it takes
Right.
you about 2 years from knowing other people to really recover from a critical illness. And within those 2 years, you're, other than getting better and focusing on recovery, you're also focusing on your financial obligations, right? And
Mhm.
going to the hospital, parking, oh my gosh, $20 a day.
Yeah.
um, there's medication that's not covered under your health benefits, right? If you're an entrepreneur or business owner, you don't have benefits anyway. So
Right.
those are
That's
some of the
correct.
things that you have to plan for.
Mhm.
You can't work. You have a business that you're running. How is this business going to run if you're trying to recover from the illness? So you need to have key person insurance as well, to hire someone to replace you, to make sure the business continues to generate income. So when you recover, you're coming back to a business that's still, up and running, right? So there's a lot of those things that I think is lacking. Life insurance. Everybody knows about life insurance, right?
So those lacking that you're seeing, you have policies that can address each one of those
Absolutely.
situations you just mentioned.
Absolutely. You can get income replacement, disability insurance, accident and sickness, critical illness. If you're a business owner, you need all of these, because the first thing you're going to do is, when you suffer an illness, you're going to go into your savings, and you're going into your savings, and eventually the savings is going to deplete. The saving or the emergency fund wasn't for you to, if you got sick, it was for emergencies,
Emergency. Yeah.
yes, but
That's right.
your savings were for your retirement.
Mhm.
But so I see a lot of that, and I see a lot of pushback. People don't want to invest in it,
Yeah.
and I don't know if it's a lack of education or they just don't want to spend the money until they
Right.
need it. So insurance is good when you need it, but when you need it and you can't get it,
It's a
then
terrible place to be.
yeah.
Absolutely. Excellent. Good stuff, Sue. Now, the other issue I think we discussed before, you talk about you seeing the lack of retirement among women in the middle age and upper middle age.
Yeah,
Address that,
yeah.
please.
So I think back when you were in 20s and 30s, there's no financial, like nobody taught us financial literacy, number one, right?
Right.
And sometimes we put these things in the back burner because we're raising families, we have bills, and you know, you don't want to, you're just not thinking about it.
Right.
Sometimes some people get anxiety thinking about that. And I do work with a psychotherapist that can help you if you have emotional anxiety, thinking about your financial future, because it is a thing.
Yes, of course.
So women my age didn't know anything about it. I'll tell you this: when I was in my 20s, I had my son. My mother said get life insurance. I did. When I got a job at Bell, someone said to me, "Hey, get contribute to the pension. They'll match it." I did. I didn't even know what it was. I just knew it. I had no idea. You know what I mean? I'm just, people were just saying, "Hey, do these things." So I'm like,
Mhm.
okay. I don't see the $50 coming off every week. I
Right.
remember when I went to TELUS, I was signing up for my benefits, and this lady on the other end in BC said, "You need to contribute to your pension. Put $100 every pay." I did. So every time I left these companies, I left with something.
Right.
So if you're at a, if you and if you work for an employer, it's very important if they do have benefits and they contribute, they match you, put some money in. Trust
Right.
me, you can't go wrong. Um, so I encourage people to do that. If you're in your 40s, you're in your early 50s, it's never too late to start planning. You can get an RSP loan. You know what I mean? To save up that income if you don't have the cash right away. But
Right.
this gives you a way to, to discipline yourself, right? You know that you have to pay this loan back. And so there's different ways you can start, but I think it was just a lack of education. Nobody taught us about it. I mean, Frank, I'm 50 years old, okay?
You 50
It's
years looking like 20.
Thank you. But it's just the last couple of weeks the government announced that they were now putting financial literacy education in the curriculum.
Isn't
Like,
that crazy? Isn't that
come
crazy?
on.
Yes.
It,
That
it,
is
it
crazy.
just blows my mind. You know what I mean? So now adults are learning about it because there's
So,
the internet.
so let me ask you a question from a different angle because I hear what you're saying, and you're saying, well, you're 4 and 50, you can still make retirement.
Yeah.
Is that really possible? Is someone in because most financial advisors tell you start in your 20s and your 18s and 19s, and a person in their 50s or even late 40s or mid 40s, can they start now and still make retirement for 65 if that's the target age?
I depends on the level of commitment and their projection, right? How much income will you need when you retire to maintain your current lifestyle and to keep up with the rate of inflation? So think about that. Okay,
Right.
right now it's costing you 4,500 monthly to maintain your, all your financial obligations. At
Mhm.
65, you're going to be on a fixed income. How do you make sure you still have that plus more, because things are increasing over years, cost of living.
Right.
So you have to plan like that, right? So
Mhm.
if I need $6,000 by the time I'm 65,
Mhm.
how much do I need to put away, right?
Right. So you're saying it's still possible even in your
i
50s?
think it's I think it's
There you go,
possible.
folks.
People like myself, people carry a lot of added expenses that's not necessary.
Right.
Like all these subscriptions, you eat out, maybe not eat out anymore, cook food,
Right.
stay home. You don't have to go to every redemption, bandit, whatever. You don't have to go to all those things, right?
She's calling out
um
the events.
I'm just saying, like,
Yeah, I understand.
yeah, and
Yeah.
create your own experiences too, right? I do a lot of that. Like, I mean, I still go out, but there are times I'm like, oh, I could just do this myself. You know what I
Right.
mean? Create your
Hmm.
own experiences. It'll cost you less and you'll have a better memory anyways. um Cut spending, right? Cook what you have in your fridge. That's what my husband tells me all the time. Cook what's in the fridge. Stop buying more
Exactly.
food.
So is that what
um
motivates your chef skills?
No, I actually have a degree in hospitality and tourism.
Oh, nice.
So, so part of that program, we learned how to cook and learn how to become a chef, learn how to. So that was part of my curriculum. And I got this diploma from Centennial College.
Nice.
And so I really like it. I like creating recipes. There's cooks, there's home cooks, and there's home chef. I'm a home chef
Very
because
good.
a cook only knows how to cook one type of meal. Like you can only cook West Indian food.
So not only is she gonna advise you well, give you good policies and good coverage, the barbecues that suit this summer, she gonna cook for you as well.
Man, listen, I don't know if I'm doing that barbecue this year.
No. Okay, so let's do this. Let's take a break for a second. Let's address a few people sending some questions
Okay.
about insurance and some financial situation. Let's listen to some of those questions and see how you can better respond to them and see if you can help these folks with their situation.
Intrigued by real estate investment? Our team is here ready to guide you on a step-by-step journey. From initial queries to final paperwork, we've got you covered. No jargon, no confusion, just plain and simple guidance. Don't wait. Contact Danielle today at 416-722-9717. Your investment journey starts here.
Good evening, Mr. Frank. My question would be, what is a surefire way to obtain and maintain generational wealth, considering this person has a low income?
You get that?
I got it.
Yeah.
So generational wealth, and this is the thing, I hear this all the time. How do I, build generational wealth? It's not just about leaving money, right? You can leave different education to your children, different habits, how to form better, make better decisions when it comes to finance. If you have a low income, you don't, it's not about money. It's about knowledge, right? It's about leaving your kids with values that they can take on, how to measure their self-worth when it comes to money, how to spend, how to budget. Like I said, my mother taught me about insurance when I was 20. Those are the things that I would consider generational wealth. You can
Gotcha.
leave financial wealth, you can leave the money, but if that's what you have to differentiate the two.
Right.
What are the habits that you're leaving? Children mimic what their parents do. Like
Right.
it's 100%.
So,
Right?
so what you're saying, if you don't have the financial wealth to transfer to the next generation, at least give them the financial habits so they can create the wealth, the finances in their time.
Yes, 100%.
That's very smart. That's very smart. I mean, we didn't all know this, but we don't really think of it. So,
Yeah.
and if you
It's
can do both,
psychological.
right. And if you can do both, then it's actually better, right? You can have the financial knowledge and you can have the wealth, the actual finances. That's
Yeah.
actually better. But if you miss, you're that folks who says, if you miss your financial mark because you either start too late or you couldn't get it in time, at least transfer the knowledge to the next generation, the habits, develop it, the habits, so they can be able to do it. So now that you mentioned that, here's another question that would tie right in to what we just discussing right now. Hold on a second, let me play that next question.
Hey, so I would like to know, what is a good way to start teaching your kids great financial literacy so that they can know how to deal with certain financial issues later on in life?
I think you can teach them as soon as they can count. Teach them how to count money. Oh, listen, that is so important.
Yeah.
Do you know how many children don't know how to count money?
Hey, hold on a second. What do you mean counted money? Is it different from counting?
Cash, the good old, the hard cash,
Yeah.
20, 40, 60. Lots of kids don't know how to do that because everything is now on this wallet and all they do is tap, tap,
Right.
tap. Teach your children how to count money. As soon as they can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, teach them how to count money and what money is. Money
So you-
in, money out. When your children go to school and they're learning math, teach them how, if you put $1 in and you take 50 cents, this is what you have left. Teach your children as
So
soon
I
as they
should go
can
to
count.
the ATM machine, bring 500 $1,000 to the dining table and get them counting.
Yeah. And when you go out, pay with cash
What's the difference?
because you can count cash, right?
You can't count
When
tap.
you can't count tap, you count cash. So what I
There you
do
go,
is,
folks. Become one with the enemy. Become one with the money. Understanding the
yes,
value, the feel of money. I remember when I
when
make
you
my.
have that money, when you have the cash, you know how hard it is for me to let cash go. So hard. I have $200 cash, and I'm at the
Mhm.
register, and I'm like, oh my god, I don't need that. I don't need take that off.
Mm.
Take that off.
So you can I can fast to get you tapping. I can fast to you releasing your cash. So you say
Yes,
even by the accessing of cash, it's creating a habit of not releasing it. So you spend less. That's what you're saying,
yes. So I
right?
would say teach your children how to count cash from the moment they can start count. Let them
Right.
know what money is, and create habits. The same habits you have, or the same habits they're gonna have. They're
Right.
watching you, so it all starts with you.
So so why do you feel that we have this non-common sense emotional attraction for this bill, this cash?
Why do we have
Yeah,
this?
we have this. We have emotion. People have an emotion connection to cash money. Like you said, you can
Because
have.
the
Go ahead.
cash, you can feel it. It's tangible. It's in your
Yeah.
hand. I work hard for this.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna let it go. I mean, for me,
Hmm.
when I have cash, if I'm going to a little festival or something, I purposely walk with cash. The other day, I had two cards on my wallet. I deleted one, and I'm deleting my debit card too because every time I go to the cash, like when I go to the register, and I have to tap
Hmm.
now, it makes this ching sound, like this money sound, which for me, it's so annoying. I said, oh my God, I hate that sound. And they always laugh. They're like, yeah, I know, because now you knew you spend money.
You spend money.
Exactly.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm deleting all that off my phone and I'm
Mhm.
going to just use cash because now I can discipline myself to know that this is how much cash I have and that's all I'm willing to spend. I have a client, she's 29.
Mhm.
She's she's an accountant. Like this girl, she's doing very well for herself. And she said her grandmother told her that if she has to have a certain amount of money, and if she goes over that, like once she hits that budget, she's not spending a dollar more. Nothing. Nothing.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
not spending a dollar more. That's it. She says, once I hit it, that's it. I'm not spending
Mm.
anything else.
And she's in her 20s.
Yeah, she's 29 now. She
I
bought
had a
her first
situation
place.
once.
She has her house. Yeah.
I had a situation once. I met a young lady. She's with 23 years of age, and I had a credit book. I wrote a book on credit. I was selling the credit book, and she said, "Frank, I would really buy that book from you, but it's not in my budget." I'm like, "Whoa." She was so disciplined to says, "I would buy the book, but not in this
Not
budget."
not today. Not
No,
today.
not
Yeah.
today. I
That's
thought
fine.
I was actually impressed by her answer. She
You
says
know,
no,
I,
but I was impressed by her answer.
I do have a lot of younger clients in their 20s,
Mhm.
early 30s, 20s,
Right.
and they don't carry debts.
So do you talk to your clients about budgeting?
When I do a needs analysis, we go through a full budgeted. So I'll see where your liabilities
Hmm.
are every month, and then we go through to see what income is coming in, how much income you're generating, and so
Right.
I'll see I'll understand where the money is going, and if there's
Mhm.
gaps, then I can make recommendations. Say because people don't always disclose everything to you. That's what you should also
Right.
know. People will like try to pretty
Yeah.
it.
Even though it's bad.
And you're like, wait a minute, but it says that you have this much every month. Where is it?
Hmm.
Oh, sometimes I do this, and then it starts to come out. So
Right.
we do during the needs analysis, we'll do a full financial review to see where the money are.
Mhm.
And if you're honest, we could see different ways of where you need to, maybe pull back some funds.
I have one final question on budgeting, and we can get back to discussing some stuff on life insurance. One more question came in on budgeting. 1 second.
Thank you for inviting me to your show. My question is, I want to understand how to do monthly budgeting. I seem to have more expense than cash flow available at the end of the month. And I would like to know some steps or some activity that I need to do in order to change my financial situation. I am looking forward for your response. Thank you very much. My name is Laverne.
Okay, Laverne, you have to do a full financial review. So what you need to do is to see income versus expenses, right? If your income is less than your monthly expense, I've had to tell clients that you might have to seek a second income, right? For a
Right.
short period of time, because where's it coming from? And that's the reality, right? People can't keep up. So I do work, I do have clients that are in similar situations to you. They had to go and seek, get a second job, something to supplement that additional expense and try to get those, that budget under control.
Right.
Look at what you're spending your money on. Food, how much is your food? Your mortgage, your insurances, your subscriptions are a lot too, right? I mean, do you remember when we used to pay $5.99 for Netflix?
That's correct.
It's 20 bucks
$20
now.
now. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's if you have
Amazon
the family
Prime.
plan.
Maybe get, even for myself, I'm really considering getting rid of a lot of these subscriptions. I
Right.
know now for myself, I don't have cable anymore, so I've gotten rid of the Bell box and all that,
Mm-hmm.
because I can watch everything online.
Right.
So look at different ways that you can create your expenses. Find out what you're spending your money on, your groceries, utilities.
Is there an electronic app or some electronic platform they can use that you recommend they can use to, or do you have something they can use to assess or even just review their budget monthly?
Absolutely. If you have, so I know from my bank personally, CIBC and RBC, they do have a budget calculator that you can
Right.
go on and you can type in all your monthly
Income expense.
expenses,
Yeah.
and yeah, you can do that. So I would say look at your bank. They do have calculators. There's a lot of different calculators on these banking websites now where you can go in and create a budget. You can go in and create a retirement, like how much you would need for retirement, how to get out of debt, how much money, all that, because it has the interest calculators also on them where it
Right.
gives you real time, right, and projections. So I would say utilize those platforms. Speak to a financial advisor as well, right? So there are different resources out there for you where you can actually work with a professional to get
Right.
your monthly budget and spending under control. But you have to also be realistic too, right? Um, we're not Jesus. We can't give you wine out of blood or something like that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Exactly.
yeah, you have
Yeah.
to have realistic expectations as well.
Excellent. Very good. It's a pleasure having you on this platform. Sue, you've been great. You have a lot of great insight. You have a great success story into the financial advising journey. And my final question to you is, I read into your profile. You said term life insurance is limiting. Explain that to me, please.
Term life insurance is limiting because it's a term, right? It's like renting. When you rent, every year your lease comes up for renewal and the landlord increases that rent, right?
Mm-hmm.
So same with term life insurance. You get a 10, 20, or a 30-year term. If you do
Mm-hmm.
a 10-year term, for example, it limits you to 10 years. So if you pass away within the 10 years, the policy pays out. If you outlive the 10 years, you renew, the policy renews at a higher premium because now you're 10 years older and
Right.
they're renewing it under the assumption that you're healthy, but
Mm-hmm.
you're going to pay more, right? Because
Right.
insurance rates are based on health and age. So they are limited. There's no cash value associated with a term policy. When you cancel that policy, we say thank you and you have a lovely life. And if you need another term, call us, or if you want to convert that term, to whole life, you can do so without any medical requirements as well. So it's limited into the fact that, yes, you pay a cheaper premium and it renews at a higher
Mhm.
rate. So that's the limitation.
Right.
However, you do have the option with some policies to convert that term into a whole life policy that does not renew, and it has leveled premiums, which means you pay the same premium for your whole life.
Excellent. Very good, Sue. Thank you very much for that explanation. Now, if some folks want to get a hold of you, they want either your assessment for budgeting, they want your advising on insurance or lifestyle planning, how to get access to you?
So you can follow me on Instagram at According to Susie. You can reach me there. You can also log on to my website, which is www.suechambersfinancial.com. And you click the three dots at the top and you can book an appointment and it'll take you right to my schedule.
Did you say according to Susie?
According to Susie. According to Susie, you
That's
must
good.
have life insurance. According to
That is
Susie, you
brilliant.
must have a financial plan.
And according to Susie, you're going to
Very-
retire young.
Yes. Young and rich.
Exactly. Talking about that. If someone coming out of college, university, and it says, I want to retire young, I want to retire rich, and they sit with you, do you have a plan in place for them to get them out? So if I call you in my 20s, I want to retire by 35. That's 15 years I'm giving you of my financial advice. Is that too soon, or
Yeah,
can we make
that's
it
not
happen?
realistic.
It's not
Unless
realistic?
you, no, I don't think that's realistic. Depends on what you're going to do. Like if you want to retire early, maybe at 20, you want to retire at 35.
Yeah.
You have to have a solid plan because, okay, where's the retirement income going to come from consistently for the rest of your life, right?
But it's coming from the plan I'm creating with you.
No.
Is it too soon? So what time frame am I looking at? If I want to retire young, I'm starting
I
my
would say
20s.
45.
45 is a good number.
To be realistic, 45.
So I'm giving you
Unless
25
you live
years.
at home, like
Mhm.
real estate,
Right.
That's
Right.
another avenue that you can pursue as well.
Mhm.
If you want to retire young, you have a business plan. I can only give you a financial plan, but you also
Right.
have to have a plan as
Right.
well, right? Significant income to retire from 20 to 35.
Okay. Very good. All right. Any final tips and advice you want to leave with us, Sue?
Yes.
According to Sue? I like
According
that.
to Susie, if you're
Yeah.
looking to start a second career as a financial advisor or someone in the financial industry, reach out to me. I am recruiting new agents. Again, you can message me through my website. My email address is info@suechambersfinancial.com. So if you're a woman or a man and you're looking to start a new career, reach out to me and I can give you some insights on how you can become a successful advisor. Like
And
yourself.
were they able to do $1 million a year in annual premiums
Yes, they can. Of course, you can.
under
Yeah.
your mentorship?
Under my mentorship. Yes, absolutely. It is
Step by
possible.
step process.
Yeah, yeah,
Excellent.
yeah. It's proven. And opportunities. The opportunities, the access, it's next to none.
You have access, and you have access to all the insurance companies as well, or the
Yeah.
product as well that they're able to
Yeah.
get access. And
So I'm an
make-
independent advisor, which means I have access to the market.
Right.
I'm not at a captured agency, which means I'm only to sell one product. I call
Right.
it the one trick pony.
Mhm.
You have access to the market. So the Sun Life, Manulife, Desjardins, like every single carrier that I find to be reputable and has a good track record, I have access to them.
And
And
you can
not
sell
just
it.
the products, but to the leadership team as well.
Excellent. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for being on our program. And we're looking forward to have you again sometime soon.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Frank, for having me on my first podcast. And I
Excellent.
look forward to being a guest again, of course.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, there you go, folks. No other than Sue Chambers advising us, educating us, step-by-step process, how you can retire young, retire rich. If you just follow the process, follow the plan, start young, finish rich. The earlier you start investing is the earlier you can stop working. She owns her own company, Sue Chambers Financial Services, and she also looking to get more younger people into the financial service industry. So if you're looking for a second career, a first career, you contact Sue. She can put you under her mentorship and coaching system so you can be one of the top advisors in the country as well. My name is Frank Corbin. I'm your host for the YRU podcast. YRU, Young and Rich University. Why are you not rich? To your success. See you then.
Awesome.